So this is our podcast for evaluation question 1. In what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? So I think the way to start this off would be that with our main music video, of course with it being based in the indie rock genre, the majority of those videos are based around a narrative. And I think with ours, we did follow that. So that's conforming to forms and conventions of indie rock music videos as well.
However, unlike most music videos under the genre of our choice, it is solely narrative, which normally some of these videos will include a performance element, but we decided not to, mainly for the reason that we thought that the narrative held attention more and made the audience held their attention more and made them want to keep watching so they could find out what happened next, as opposed to someone just playing a guitar and dancing around.
But yeah, sort of what we did do instead was with the hook of the song near at the end, we had some of the characters from within the video just mouthing a line. So that's kind of like a sort of an embedded performance in a way. Whereas a lot of indie rock music videos don't really have that embedded into the narrative storyline. They sort of have the two separate but cut between the two. I think also another way that we've conformed with our video is our use of camera angles, because we've in the majority of probably any music video, but primarily indie rock, you do see a lot of like close-ups, medium close-ups, and I feel like with our video we really focused on that, because with a close-up you can see a lot of detail, a lot of expression in a person's face. You can really sort of begin to understand where they fit into everything as well.
Another thing that we did that happens in the indie genre more so than others, like pop for example, is showing shots of like inanimate objects that aren't people. So often in pop music videos, for example, you'll get a lot of every shot has people in it, whether they're singing, dancing, or being part of a narrative. There'll be a person in all of the shots, whereas we've got some more like establishing shots, which is more common within the indie rock genre.
So yeah, I think overall with our video we kind of more so conformed to conventions, although we did kind of develop and challenge. I think with this genre it can be quite difficult to challenge every single detrimental element, but I feel like we had a good crack at it. Digipack. Yeah. So for my Digipack, I conformed to in some aspect, because you need to link it between the main product and the Digipack itself. So what I did is I used Tom, who was our main protagonist from the video, and had photos of him on the front and back of the Digipack as well, so that kind of made that initial link. Then I had the name of the song on the Digipack as well, so again that's two links I had there, so I easily tied the two between. Another thing I did to challenge the sort of conventions was a lot of indie rock Digipacks are quite bright and colourful, whereas with mine I sort of I had black, white, dark blue and red, sort of colours that can be seen as quite dull, whereas like most indie rock albums can be quite bright, fluorescent. So I feel like I did challenge that quite well, and it's also quite a simplistic cover, whereas a lot of indie rock genre Digipacks, no matter what panel you're looking at of it, they can be quite cluttered and sort of jam filled of a lot of things as well.
For my Digipack, my front cover was it was a picture of Tom, as Connor said, the main protagonist of our music video, which tied it quite nicely to the video. But also the album, their latest album name is Spring, so it was a picture of Tom outside with some like trees in the background, and so I think that quite nicely incorporated both our music video with Tom in it and the album name being Spring, that brought them quite nicely together. I also put my picture right in the centre of the digipack front cover and had a cream back border around the edge. I did this because it's something that I'd seen in some indie rock digipacks. For example, in Wallows, and I think Lana Del Rey did it in one of hers as well. No, she didn't. And the Japanese house did it as well. So yeah, I decided to go along the same theme of that, and I sort of put a cream tint on it, so it wasn't just plain white. And I also put an effect over the picture which made it a little bit lighter. I upped the brightness, so it looks slightly vintage, I guess you could say, but yeah, I didn't want the colours to be too bright and piercing, because what I've seen in my research is that often the colours, as much as they are quite colourful and there are colours in there, they're often quite gentle.
So yeah, it's going on to magazine adverts now. I think with mine, I sort of went along the more simplistic route again, because of what I've seen is a lot of successful magazine adverts for indie rock albums and just generically just music albums. They don't tend to clutter it as much. So for example, with the Cavalier Youth poster for You Me at 6, it was a really simple design. They had the album cover but the enlarged photo version and just basic white text. Looked really clean, really simple, and I thought, okay, what can I do and take from that and incorporate it into mine? So I use conventions like this clean and easy readable text, contrasting colours so that it's, again, easily quite legible. Little bits of like extra sort of mise-en-scène kind of elements. So for example, around the centre or the lower half of my advert, I have the pictures of girls, the album out now, but what I've got around the edge is sort of like the corners of a frame, so like it's through the viewfinder on a camera, you get the little corner pieces there. So I feel like that kind of sets me apart as well, because you don't really see much of like extra boxy elements or anything like that surrounding words. Also, one thing I did carry over was the band's sort of name being present, and also the actual picture itself linked not only between the advert and the digipack, but also the advert and the video, because once again it did contain Tom, therefore linking all three together.
My advert, similarly to Connor's, was centred around a picture of Tom, again linking it to both the music video and keeping a consistency throughout my work, so that links with the digipack as well. And yeah, I've put a similar sort of effects with the brightness as I did on the digipack, again to get that consistent house style. I've also used the same font, although I've played around with font sizes to try and emphasise different points of it. But yeah, in terms of conforming to the conventions, I've kept with having both the band name and the album name obviously on the poster, and then also just having some symbols and logos as to where they can find it. So for example, the Spotify and Apple Music logo are in the bottom corner of my advert, so that I can because that's something that I found was quite common in adverts that I looked at.
Ina, have you got an advert?
I haven't really said anything much to this point, so I'll just let you guys do it.
That's cool.
I'll just do something separate.
I think that's basically done on that then.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.